Hello everyone, it is Rosen Quartz here, and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be making, as promised, a mini medieval starter home, and this time it took me much less time than my last build, which was about 4 hours of footage. This took me about roughly, it was really quick. I think it was only about like 40 minutes it took me to make this build. I actually started one before, just before this one, and I didn't particularly care for it. It was only like one level, and it just looked really bad. And I felt like this one was just much nicer, and it had a little bit more of a much better medieval-esque sort of style. And so right now I'm just playing with the roofs a little bit. At first I wanted to use these roofs right here, and then I realized, oh, these aren't the ones that kind of where the roofs kind of swoop down a little bit, so I changed to that roof right there. And then I decided to do a little bit of a double roof right there, just to have a nice little bit of detail. I thought it was looked really nice in the end, and with all the wallpaper and everything. And yeah, I was actually thinking about doing this one for a while now. I'm okay with the Tudor homes in Windenburg, but I felt, there's nothing better than having a really cute sort of medieval home, and especially since I just started my YouTube channel, I thought, you know what, it's always good to start with just a little starter home, and this is actually the first time I've ever made sort of a starter home. Usually I kind of just, if I'm playing, I'll steal one from the gallery, or I'll use cheats and I'll give them their home, and then I'll like take money away. But yeah, so I thought this one was pretty nice. I think all in all it was about 16,000 simoleons. I should have written it down, but it's not that expensive. I think on the lot it came up to, I think, about like 17,000 or maybe like 18,000 with the lot, but on its own I think it's only about like 16,000. I don't know. I made a small little adjustments just after I built the house, just because there's some times where I'll forget a wall, or I think I got all the walls and I didn't, or just little minor things. But nothing too big. Everything that's you see in the video here is what's in the final house. So yeah, so right now I'm just kind of thrown on the front door, and I really want to have these like tall kind of like bump outs, and I want to really keep that medieval style where you have that stone base, and then you have all these sort of jutting out little things on the bottom. And I just realized I actually missed that corner on the stone. And that's what I mean about just little things where I'll be spinning around, I'm not noticing, and I'm thinking I'm catching everything. And sometimes when I do hold keys to do all the walls, sometimes because I'm building, it misses one corner or something like that. But before I put it on the gallery, because it's not up yet, I will have that fixed. And so right now I'm just playing around with the stairs. I wasn't exactly sure like where to put the stairs, and there is this like really weird like galley sort of hallway on the main floor that is just kind of a little bit of wasted space, but that's alright. I kind of figured that with time, if you wanted to, you could actually put in another staircase there going down, and I thought that would look really cute. And so I deemed this house as sort of like two living spaces, because originally the upstairs, if you can see, there's that big hallway right there. I wanted that to actually be the living room, and just the main bottom, the first floor as just the sort of kitchen and dining room. But in the end I decided against it, and I figured, you know what, it's a little bit of a free space so that you can play with and have a little bit of a seating area or something like that. And if you because this is a starter home, there's a lot of space to expand. You can pull out walls, you can go down and do the basement, or you can go up higher and add another roof or something like that, and add another roof and add another level. And yeah, so this was actually a really fun build, because I said before, I've never built a starter home before, mostly just because I never just feel the need to limit myself with money or anything like that. I just kind of like to go crazy, and I like to spend a lot of money building my houses and having like several $100,000 builds. But it was a lot of fun, and it was a little frustrating on some levels because I wanted to keep with the certain aesthetic, so there's not a lot of like wall art or anything like that, or a lot of minor details and stuff like that that I would normally put in, such as landscaping, where I really wanted to just go crazy with trees, but I was like, okay, you can't do that, you know. A lot of that is just sort of wasted money if you're talking about like a starter home. And so I try to make it really simple, and I even take out like main lights, and which actually did save me a lot of money in the end when I switch all the lights out and stuff like that, just to keep in a more darker, sort of more medieval vibe. Um, when I was actually doing like photos for this, I was a little bit I was just a little bit frustrated just because I looked at all kind of the bare walls, and I wish there was like more like little details that I could have put in, but I really didn't want to push it because not all you want to have extra simoleons left over when you start to play with your starter home, and you don't want just all of it gone and stuff like that. Um, just on the house. So I didn't want to go too crazy, and so I just try to use like the bare essentials, and I try to get all that in first. And I wanted to go a little bit more expensive with the cabinets as well, and I think that's where kind of a lot of the money went because, I didn't want to do more modern looking cabinets. I wanted to have just these sort of like oak cabinets, and I sort of cheap appliances and stuff like that. And yeah, so, but yeah, like I said, I didn't want to go too crazy, and you have all of your bare essentials. I think the only thing that I wish I could have put in the end was sort of like a bookcase, but I felt like if you use this house, you can always just throw in a bookcase. You can always get rid of sort of the trees and sort of the little minor decor on the outside with like landscaping, stuff like that, and replace it with to get a bookcase. And yeah, so this is where I'm starting to save a little bit of money with lights, just because those big beamer lights, I think they're called. I don't remember what they're called, but they really they actually cost like I think 120 simoleons or something like that. I don't know, but they're actually kind of expensive, and so I saved a little bit of money using sort of cheaper lights and dimmer lights and stuff like that. And because this house was so tiny, the light actually kind of looked nice, especially with sort of the medieval-esque vibe that I was going for. And now you see me I wanted to make that the living space, so I end up redoing sort of the upstairs a little bit. Not too much, just moving around doors and sort of shifting things a little bit. Just because I wanted to make it, again, that free space, just another living space that you can do stuff. And yeah, and then I decided, I'm just going to bring everything downstairs. I end up throwing in a TV so that your Sims can watch TV instead of, read. But, it doesn't look too bad. It has everything you sort of need to start playing The Sims, and there should be like free cache that you can kind of use. Oh, and this is where I really, really wanted to put a fireplace in because, again, it was a medieval house, but then I was like, oh, it's, this is where I go over, and I was really frustrated because I really wanted to, again, I wanted to put in a fireplace. I wanted to go a little bit more with the aesthetic, but again, I was very limited with the amount of money that I could use, and yeah, so I just decided to just, drop it and just leave it, and I figured, there's a lot of space for creative freedom with this starter home. So there's lots of things that you can take out and then you can put in what you'd like, but still keep that same aesthetic. And so here I'm just doing a little bit of landscaping. I really hated this lot because I would spin around. I don't know if like other people have played on this lot in Windenburg, but when you spin around to the back, you end up going all the way up on that like upper level, and it was really frustrating. And then I'm having a little bit of issues with sort of the terrain paint, where even though I'm putting it at like sort of a softer density, it still goes down in these really big, harsh circles. and I try to fix it up just a little bit, but it still looks really harsh, especially in the video. But I figure in the end, it's fine. It doesn't look too bad. And then I want to put that little sort of I don't know what you would call that, like a little like dormer. I don't know. But then I was just having a lot of trouble, and then I realized, oh, it's just floating in midair, and I take it off, and then I don't use any of those little like details or anything like that, just because it was just too much, and yeah, and it wasn't looking nice either. It just wasn't. I really wanted something to balance out on the roof on the left side. That's why I kind of wanted to throw that little like I guess like chimney up there, but I couldn't find anything that wasn't giving me a lot of trouble. As you can see me playing with there, and I just give up. And I thought that little chimney would look cute, but then that wasn't working either because it was floating, and so I kept trying to move things up and move things down, and then I would move to one side, and then I'd realize it's floating somewhere else, and so I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna like kind of waste too much of the kind of precious simoleons to like little details like that. And yeah, so I really wanted to do just a tiny bit of landscaping. I was trying to restrain myself, so I just put this like one tree in. I fiddled with a few other trees, but then I decided, you know what, this one tree just balances out the left side a little bit better. And yeah. And so, yeah, I do these little plants up here in the front just to make it just look a little bit nicer, just a little bit prettier, so that there is a tiny bit of thought put into the landscaping. But again, I didn't want to go too crazy just because, it's supposed to be really subtle, and I think with starter homes, I really want it to how do I say this? Like, I really want them to be customizable. There's nothing worse than having sort of a house that has, like, you pull it from the gallery and then there's so many limitations and it just doesn't work for you. And I feel like this house is, especially for, different kinds of players and stuff like that, you can really fix it. Oh, and here we are. We're already at the photos, and yeah, I think this house looks very, very cute in the end, and I think compared to the house in the background, it looks really nice, and you can put it in so many different places in Windenburg. I didn't go too crazy with these screenshots just because, it's a small space. You don't need, like, 360-degree angles of each of the rooms. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you guys liked this build, and this time it's actually a lot shorter, so it's not 40 minutes of your time and listening to me ramble and sniffle. And I hope you guys, again, like I said, like this build, and I hope you guys subscribe and like this video. Thank you guys so much for watching.